My people, what's going on? My name's Johnny Garcia. I'm so excited to be back here with you today. I got the glasses on because I just got done doing my research. They help me keep my mindset strong. More than anything, they protect me from all the type of light, blue light, any type of light that comes into my eyes before the sun is up. And you know we're recording this bright and early because I woke up, did my research on the thoughts that I had to go to sleep on, and man, I woke up so inspired that I had to get over here and tell you everything I learned as soon as possible, because it got me thinking this morning. If I was Elon Musk and I was the richest man in the world, how would I think? What would I be thinking about? What's my plan? What's my vision? What is the long-term plan? And you know, I was just so inspired by this thought. And so I just kept writing and writing and writing and writing and writing. I arrived at some great conclusions. I'd love to share them with you today. But first, we got to start with a few concepts, all right? Because if you want to think like Elon Musk, you got to think about what is money, all right? You got to have a good foundation of what is money. As you can see on the board behind me, there is a ton of information. We're going to talk about all of this, all right? You have to know how to play the game. If you really want to get ahead, you have to know how to play the game. And that's what we're going to talk about today, all right? I want you to think like Elon Musk, but I want you to be about your life, break the cycle of your own legacy and your family name, and change your stars, all right? This is the concept that's always inspired me since I was little, how to change my stars. All right, you might have watched that movie when this guy, he's coming out of like the barn and he's just a stable boy and he wants to become a knight, you know, and I think it's called A Knight's Tale, but I could be wrong because that could be the comedy, you know, but it's all about changing your stars. But it also led me to, if I want to change my stars, I should understand the stars. And most people don't realize that astrology, astrotheology, and everything that we learn in the world is all the same thing. It's all one. Before we can become an interplanetary civilization, we have to know what money is. That's what we're going to discuss today. All right, so if you know me, you know I have a tendency to go on a tangent and just start writing all over the place, which is why today I wanted to try something different, so hopefully you can keep up with my thoughts in a different way and be able to see things on the board a little bit more clear. So, as you can see, I went ahead and put together a little structure here of what is money. Now, money could be one of four things. It could be some type of rock, seashells, some kind of material from the earth. In this case, we're going to use salt. All right, salt was rare, and so we're going to use that because it was scarce. It was a material that was scarce that people first started utilizing within their own tribes in order to preserve the gestation period of things, all right, or to preserve how long an individual can eat something. Because I want you to think about back in the day, if you caught food, you know, there was no fridges, there was no refrigeration, so you had to dig a hole, put salt in it, throw the animal in there, and let it just sit there. That salt would preserve the food, all right? It would pull out the water, and it would make sure that it would not start to ferment. And that's really important. You got to keep that in mind. There's either life or death, and so it's decay or it's preservation somehow, right? And so these individuals figured out that with salt we could do that. Then I want you to think we found out gold. Yeah, there was gold. This is kind of where we're looking at a gold rush in San Francisco, right? So everybody knows that gold at a certain point became the thing. The one thing that if you had wealth. That became the next thing. All of a sudden now we are transitioning to what is called a digital asset, which is why the Bitcoin boom is happening. All right, Bitcoin is introducing the entire world to what is a digital asset of wealth. Now, does that mean it is the best one? I don't think so. It is a form of storage of wealth. This is just a way for us to put money into something that is not going to lose its value, simply due to the fact that, once again, it is scarce. Because people that invest in Bitcoin, if they hold on to it, the more people that buy it into the market, well, there's only so many, right? Everybody's trying to get a piece, but there's only so many. So the price of selling one always goes up, because if somebody sells one, people always try to get it. But people don't understand the mechanics of mining and miners' fees and all these different gas fees for what is happening in the crypto world. So we're not going to talk about that right now because it's not that relevant to what is going on. But I want you to think of this new digital asset as if everybody was put into a jail. All right. If we were all put into a jail and there was no money, or if you think of a jail today and you think about what is happening, cigarettes are the form of currency in jail. All right. Cigarettes, they are a way for us to be able to say, hey, look, I'll give you a pack and you do this. And everybody knows that in a pack, there's a certain amount. And if you were to exchange one, you could go ahead and, or if you were to loan one, let's say that I give somebody a loan, hey man, you got to give me one back when you get one. It's like it's a 1-to-1. You see what I'm saying? So it's easy to use cigarettes as a form of exchange of wealth. There is value behind these things, right? The value behind the salt is that whatever you kill in the woods or in the forest or in the desert, you can preserve for longer if you have salt. If you find gold, it is a way of saying, hey, look, I've accumulated this much wealth. However, the downside here is that it's heavy. You know what I'm saying? The downside here is that it is heavy and it is an insane amount of load to carry just for the significance of wealth. So these two items here, they have this big problem, which is that they're heavy to carry, but they represent wealth. Not a problem. We love wealth. This here, very light, very portable. Same with this. It's light, it's portable. You can only carry so many packs of cigarettes, but your cell phone or your watch or your glasses can be storage devices, or your hardcore ledgers or cold storage wallets. They could be storages for your digital assets where you can carry your wealth digitally as long as you have the information somewhere. And that way you can carry your wealth wherever you go in a portable, efficient manner that can be easy to go ahead and give out. And I want you to think like Elon again, because that's why he created PayPal. Think about it. He knew where this was going. He knew where this was going. He created PayPal for this reason, because he knew that money is good and all, but you know, it's you still got to carry it, hard to change it. So he created PayPal so you never had to think about anything. All your payment investments. Think about it. He could be in Mars still getting residuals off of PayPal because he created the company that takes interplanetary payment systems. What? This is ridiculous, but you're not thinking like Elon, all right? And I want to I want to teach you a little bit more about how to think like Elon by learning more about Elon, all right? So it's really simple. You got to understand his origins, all right? His grandfather was part of the 1920s, 1930s Canadian Technocratic Party, all right? A technocrat is an individual who believes that those who are technologically elite or the highly skilled in technologies should be the ones controlling the world or the governments. Wow, that's a powerful thought, right? First, it was communism or socialism. Then we're going into democracy. Hello, America, right? Look at what we just went through. We are living into a new world where we are relinquishing the reins of these democracies and we are transitioning to a technocracy. This is why you and I are able to communicate with each other right now. You see, the fact that technology and algorithms that are based on data run the world, we can't do anything about it. I mean, we're literally can't do anything about it. I just got to put both hands in my pocket because I can't do anything about it. You know, the fact is technology has improved the world. The fact is technology is what's created out of this to this. We had to give it a term and it was called money. But money, just like language, just like time, it's a technology. All right, a technology. That's all this is. And all this technology leads to specific skills that we must dominate to keep innovation going. And that is the Technocratic Party. Technocrats. That's where this goes. Let me get this tree out of the way. That's where this goes, guys. You see, time was determined by the sun and the moon, But somebody, right, the Sumerians came up with a method of counting this, and it was our 12-hour clock. All right? So there's 60 minutes, there's 12 of those. Boom, we have a cycle of the day and the night. So 12 and 12, that is our 1 day cycle. And this is based on the sun's positions to the earth and the sun and the moon, right? So it's important that we understand how time came to be, because time gives us an idea of how fast things grow or die. Once again, looking at the value of salt, all right? To preserve things from going bad so that we can keep eating them, so that it can keep recreating us, because whatever we eat recreates us. Time needed to be dominated somehow, and so we needed to be able to control it. So we created refrigeration now, but in the past it was salt. But as you can see, if we can expand the amount of time that we live, or that we consume things, we can try to accumulate more. And accumulation is the next step from growing to dying, right? Because you have more time to accumulate, which is why technocrats love it. Because if you are somebody like Elon Musk, you create one thing and you scale it times whatever. Let's say that it's 0.00001. What is that? 10,000. Next year you could do 20,000 if you figure out a new line of communication or sales, because there are billions of people in the world. So technologically, you can increase the amount of wealth that you create if you create something that is digital, because then not only can you create a product that is scalable, but it's seamless to send out. And so those who create the technology that sends information become the wealthiest in the world. Because if you pay attention, money doesn't make money. An idea makes money. But in order to fuel the idea and that the idea gets heard, so that more money gets put into the idea, you have to have first an investor. And that investor needs to go ahead and put money into the idea so that the idea can make money by meeting more channels of network. Now, all of this means that whoever has money can make more money if they had some kind of technology that could track the data that analyzes who's buying. Because if you can understand the data of who's buying, then you can use the data to create more incentives or attention, or pay more attention to make marketing campaigns, advertisements, and all these things to those individuals. So whoever has data is king. This is not about cash is king, guys. This is about data is king. And if you can understand that data is king, whoever has the most data wins. Right now, Facebook has the most data. Google has the most data. All right? We have to think about it this way, guys. Who are the technocrats? These are individuals who want to utilize technology to drive politicians out of the government, because they don't believe that a government should be ran by individuals with opinions and emotions and urges and vices. They think it should be a fair system based upon algorithms. And this is crazy, but this is where we're going, because algorithms determine everything. All right? The algorithms on these guys determine everything. And now that we have Twitter, we have experienced the first censorship of the President of the United States. This is the most powerful man in the world. He's being censored. Why? Because the algorithms deemed him to be a potential threat. And also, is this leading us towards the right type of government? What this situation with Twitter is telling us, that technology has more power than government. That's it. That's it. That's what this is telling us. So at a certain point, government, which was ran by politicians and bankers and private parties, are losing control of their institutions to the technology, because we are technocratically being driven towards a different direction. I want you to think like Elon Musk again, all right? His grandfather was a technocrat. His mom, Mae Musk, was an individual who, very famous on her own, she was able to take him around the world because his grandfather took them over to South Africa to see everything that was going on out there, because yes, although they are South African, the idea that this guy who was born, Elon Musk was born in what, 1971? You can't fake this stuff up. 1971 was the year the World Economic Forum was created. All right. In my idea, I think Elon Musk has been prepared for everything that's coming. And that's why he is thinking to innovate the world, not to be able to react to the world. Most people react. He's innovating. So what he's doing is he had the idea, because of his lineage, he was taught that if you accumulate through being able to scale an idea included in technology, and you focus on telecommunications, and you make telecommunication available between planets, then that's where the wealth is at. And how do you send wealth between planets? Well, you need a digital asset, one, and you need a payment infrastructure. Boom. He created PayPal. And now that he is focusing on Starlink, which is the interplanetary systems of internet, meaning he's put up all the satellites around the Earth, and he's now got SpaceX going back and forth to space and Mars. So we are talking about a 3 communication system, which is Earth, which is the moon, and which is Mars. So we are going to communicate back and forth between these. And there has to be money being sent out one way or another. I want you to keep your mind on this, because you want to think. You want to think like Elon Musk, all right? I'm tired of thinking like a small-minded man. I wanted to go ahead and think like a big-minded man. And to think like a big-minded individual, you got to go ahead and understand your own life. You got to take control of your own life, meaning if you don't have health, if you don't have finances, if you don't have sources of income that give you peace of mind, how can you have time to think, to write, to learn? It's all about being able to scale your sources of income in order to have more time to think, more time to write, more time to research. Because if you don't become a philosopher, a lover of wisdom, then you are going to play a reactive lifestyle. All right, you're not playing the reactive game. We got to play the anticipatory game, and we got to prepare ourselves, because you got to think like Elon. We got to get out of this planet, right? How do we get out of this planet? Well, you got to first create the wealth. He created PayPal. He sold it. He started some new companies. He began with 1. He made 3. The Boring, SpaceX, and then Neuralink. And then now we got our new one, Starlink. So you tell me where this is going. He's putting humans under. He's putting humans outer space. He's doing Neuralink to go inside. And he's doing Starlink to communicate money. You tell me how he's thinking. Because if you can't put that together, I'll put it together for you. All right? He understands, thanks to his past of technocratic network, he understands how the world became a one world government through what is called the World Economic Forum, where everybody came together to determine on the transitions of money, to take money out of the hands of the bankers. All right? Money out of the hands of the bankers is huge. Why? Because it empowers us, the people, but at the same time, it also creates all of this. Because if people wanted to send money back and forth, we have to take advantage of our 3D and 4D printers to be able to create new life on Mars and new life on the base of the moon. Now, I promise you, we are doing major developments in these industries. This is why gold will never go away, because gold has a cosmic advantage for computing power and aerospace. Now, locally, gold is good for jewelry and our dentists, because we could fix our teeth, we could not wear nice clothes, and it holds value, right? It's a world reserve asset globally. Globally, as a world reserve asset, there will only be a certain amount. But remember, once we become an interplanetary society or civilization, we will be able to capture all the asteroids and all the material in the asteroids so that we can mine asteroids. Now that's thinking in the trillions. So if you're thinking smart and you're thinking about how much money is going to come into the world once we capture these next couple meteorites, then you got to look at it as it's all going to be done in digital wealth. All of it is going to be done in digital wealth. Let's talk about the advantages of a digital asset as a currency, all right? It's going to have incredible cosmic value, intergalactic value. We're talking about the speed of transactions. If it could be 3 to 1 minute, man, can you imagine? You work on the moon, you're over there working, and then all of a sudden you get paid and you can send that money back home. You're telling me I could work on the moon or I could work in Mars and send money back home without the cost of remittances? Now we're thinking, we got to stop thinking about what is a cross-border payment. We are currently thinking that this nation is better than this nation and that this nation should fight this nation or they should partner up together. Look, fuck all that. We need to learn how to stand on our own 2 feet first. Before you start talking about what any country should do, make sure you can stand on your own 2 feet first. Matter of fact, I need some water. To continue on with this train of thought, the cosmic galactic benefit to a digital asset that can be connected through Starlink to be able to send payments back and forth, because Starlink is the interplanetary internet. This is called the internet 3.0, right? Because first we have to make a digital asset, which is called the Internet of Value. And that's Internet 2.0. Internet 2.0 is the Internet of Value in which digital assets become wealth, all right? We need to understand that because the speed of transaction is not only going to be faster, at the local level, it is still going to be weightless, and at the global level, it'll be better for economic trade. If there's only one currency, right, you could use whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it will all be connected through one currency. So all the markets in the world, all the assets, all the commodities, all of the bonds, all the treasuries, everything will be connected to one, all right? Now, if you know what that is, which is XRP, and XLM, all right, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but these are going to become our new forms of wealth because we needed a technology, which is called the ledger, that can be fast, 1,500 transactions per second, fast enough to be able to send wealth worldwide and interplanetary. So if you're thinking like Elon Musk, you understand where this is going, all right? I want you to get out of your own shoes, and I want you to start thinking like a billion, as a matter of fact, the richest man in the world, all right? Just think like the richest man in the world, because if you do, you're going to be able to see how money can become a digital asset because it's more portable. And then, once you have accumulated so much, you can start thinking about how to deliver better value. All right, what's the value to society? Well, he's constantly creating companies, right, to help us move money faster, interplanetary, to help people who can't see, who can't move their spine, who can't walk. That's what Neuralink is doing. He's trying to rehabilitate individuals who lost the ability to walk. So think about it. If you're on the Mars or on the moon, you can go ahead and get some Neuralink chips so you could walk again, right? But I want you to keep that Elon mindset, and I want you to think, well, by that time, clothes will have technology in them so that they can help us move and get stronger. We won't have to wear space suits. We'll have to wear a helmet or some type of respiration aspect or form, but our clothes will be so technologically advanced that they themselves will be able to help us get stronger because it'll be like a spotter at all times. You know what I'm saying? Your technology is going to be in your clothes. So I want you to think like Elon Musk as we keep developing this develop this futuristic mindset, we could act better today and understand why the world is transforming so rapidly and aggressively, right? It's coming at us with so much speed that only those who are thinking like the biggest minds in the world can understand. So I'm going to go ahead and take you to another level so that you understand why it's the Federal Reserve and the technocrats. You see that the Federal Reserve prints out money without control. And they print out money because nobody's above them. But if we create some type of technology that is regulated, yet it is untouchable, right? Nobody can dabble their hands in it to create more money out of something that doesn't have a backed up storage of wealth. Meaning, if we put all the world's money into one place and then have that XRP be the bridge currency or XLM be the bridge currencies, then we can go ahead and only guarantee that much amount of, based upon the gold that's in there. So the Federal Reserve doesn't like that because it can't run its fractional reserve, its fractional monetary system. So we want to go ahead and focus on how these technocrats are fighting the reserve. All right, and this is really cool. And then we'll look at how the International Monetary Fund, the Saudi Arabian Monetary Association, and all these different continents have their own organizations that manage their opinions of how their economic development should be, right? And so the moment that they all get together in what's called the World Economic Forum and discuss these things, once again, 1971 is when it started. So in 1971, the same year that Elon Musk was born, we have this incredible organization happening, all right? And as this organization continues to develop and share ideas, they are expressing about the fourth industrial revolution. Well, if you've done your research, you can know about the first, the second, and the third, but this is the fourth. So now, the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, the World Bank, the G20, the digital, what's it called? The digital group, I just lost it on that one. I'll get back to you on that one because this is my notes. But Jed McCaleb, Jay Clayton, Jim Rickards, all these individuals have spoken about what is the Great Reset. All of them, all these individuals, all of them. The Great Reset, the big incoming freeze. That was spoken about by this guy right here. Jim Rickards has been trying to blow the lid on this. If you guys get a chance, go research Jim Rickards, all right? His book is going to reveal the truth about what is called ICE 9, all right? In case of emergency, 9. I haven't figured out the 9 yet. I'm still digging deep into it, all right? But in case of emergency, here's what I believe is going to happen. They're going to freeze all the assets in the world. They're going to freeze the monetary policies, the trade of money in the banks. You cannot pull your money out. There won't be any way to go ahead and pull your wealth out of the banks. All right, there won't be. It's like a big blackout. So if this happens, right, and you're not prepared because you haven't invested into digital assets, right, that are basically yours in your control, where the banks don't matter, you want to be in that position. In a position where your money isn't held in the bank's escrow or their accounts. You don't need their approval. You don't want the website to shut down. You don't want the ATMs to say you can't use this. We ran out of money. You don't want that situation to happen. So what you want to do is you want to prepare yourself by getting some digital assets, getting some gold, right? Making sure that you have what are the basic forms of wealth in material form so that you could prepare yourself. Yes, cash is going to be okay, but what if the cash is no longer a currency because it has been declared that it's no good? Hey, look, I don't know what's going to happen, but I can tell you this. I do know that central bank digital coins have been implemented. There is legislation going through right now. Well, it has been through for the last few years because earlier in January 2020, the central banks gave out a handbook to all the major banks so that they can, and European nations and all the other continents in the world, so they can start creating what is called their central bank digital currencies. Look, data is king. And if you're thinking like Elon Musk, you're thinking about how can I go ahead and focus on telecommunication between planets? Because if you understand that data is king, you're going to create a way to capture more data from underneath how transportation, he's managing that end. Then with Tesla, he's managing energy, right? So we have a lot of different things coming out of this PayPal. So if you learned anything about how to think like Elon Musk, you have to realize that if you create one idea through technology that innovates the way that individuals handle trade or commerce or exchange wealth, then when this idea takes off, you can follow your dreams. You can create whatever you want as long as you understand the big plan. The big plan is this, guys. There is this cycle called the Great Year where we can expect our seasons to get more aggressive, where we can expect more asteroids to hit the Earth, where we can expect global warming, as they say, to keep happening as the Earth gets hotter because we are doing this great cycle that nobody wants to talk about. But if you look up the Great Year, you'll understand that every 24,000 years, we go around this incredible cycle around a sister star, and that's called Isis, Cyrus B. We are Cyrus A, that is Cyrus B, and we come closer, we dance with each other, and then we go back to our ways. Boom. This is what's happening. That's why we have the eye. It's all about understanding the esoteric history of where we get our stories from. And you have to spend time researching. You will sound crazy to many people, but if you understand what I've done here, you can understand that those people who have something that is scarce, of high quality, and of value, they have more power, more control. They have the ability to go ahead and have individuals that will serve them because they can employ them. And then you improve and facilitate the methods of payment. Because think about it. If you don't have gold or a digital asset that represents wealth, how can you make electronic payments or physical payments, right? Like this whole Federal Reserve note thing, it's a fiat money type of currency. It's kind of crap, right? You can't go back to the bank and say, hey, look, here's my $100. Give me some gold. Like, you can't do that. They'll be like, no, you can deposit it and we'll give you digital ones and zeros on your bank account. It's kind of weird, right? So once you understand that, then you can understand why there are classes and some people have more free time than others. You want to be someone that has free time and doesn't waste it, or talk about being depressed. You want to be someone that has free time and can ponder and think about how could the future be better for future legacies, and how can I act on it today because I only get 24 hours to do so. And if you realize that you only got 24 hours to do something for your future legacy, then you can start taking advantage of the 24 hours that you got. Because imagine a world when you got punished for not taking advantage of the time that you have. I'm afraid of that. I'm very afraid that somebody could hack my bank account and just take away my money just because they think that my Twitter post was ugly or disrespectful or could incite a riot. You know, you got to start thinking about these things before you lose your voice. So this is why we're talking about this today. If you don't understand what money is, where it came from, how it originated, then you're going to have a hard time dealing with what's coming. Because this great reset is not going away. It's happening right now. And if you don't pay attention, man, your data is going to be manipulated by these individuals. And then you will be able to go ahead and follow their rules. Because you have no choice. Because you didn't prepare yourself to release yourself or relinquish yourself from the chains of what is the banking system. All right, last little bit of information I'm going to leave you with. Last little bit of information. It's been so much. I've spoken so fast because I'm so passionate about this. If you need to pause this, rewind it, feel free to do so. I will always make sure to go back and answer any comments or questions that you guys may comment down below. But, you know, you got to think like Elon Musk. What people say doesn't really matter when you have to follow your family's lineage. And you have to execute the mission that was given to you by your family, by the lineage. This is bigger than pursuing what you want. This is what makes China different than us. China believes that the family is the most important thing. We believe that individuals are the most important thing. And I want you to keep one thing in mind. Yes, you individually are amazing. You are an incredible creature. You were blessed with talents. You were blessed with a vision. You were blessed with skills that many others weren't. But those skills should be utilized to honor your family's name, your family's legacy, your grandparents' initial mission. And I want you to think that way, because if they didn't have a mission, it's only because you haven't asked the right question. You got to ask your parents the right questions. You got to ask yourself the right questions. Because if you don't ask yourself the right questions, you won't lead yourself to the right mission. That's all this is about, guys. You have to ask the right questions to ignite your own personal curiosity. I would love for all of you to find something that drives you more than anything to wake up and study and research and learn and share. We don't know how long we'll have this opportunity to keep sharing our voice as freely as we do right now. I want my kids to remember me for somebody that didn't stand for nothing, but stood for everybody. And over the next few months, I'll keep sharing content with you that is meant to be life-changing, eye-opening, and at the same time quite humbling. Because I work with individuals from all walks of life. Some strong, some weak. Some big, some small. But the point is, we are all pursuing our best self. So I want you to go ahead and take the time to break the cycle, to be about your life, and to wake up and grind for what you really want. You could be one of those individuals who just pursues their best self every single day. I call those angels of transcendence. If you want to join me on this mission and becoming an angel of transcendence, becoming a lighthouse for all of those around you, all you have to do is take care of yourself. All you have to do is do the research that will give you guidance to become a lighthouse for others. Because if you could stand on your own feet without doubt, fear, or shaking on your voice, you know that your mission is so clear that all you could do is prepare for what's coming. And you're ready, because you're not the only one. I got your back, and there's millions other like me who are only after your best interest. So, if you had a chance to go ahead and get something out of this content, please help me in reaching my mission of sharing this content with the world. I want you to think like Elon, because I want us to liberate ourselves from this perspective of thinking, or this mindset of we are self-reliant upon the government. We don't need the government, but we pay a tax to the government to keep protecting us from bad situations and to keep having our back. Because you never want to go into any situation alone. You see, 20%, 30%, whatever it costs, you are an individual who currently has not created value to the world in the sense of jobs or innovation. When you are someone like the technologically advanced, who have created major companies like these, who employ thousands, it's not to say that at that point you are more of a person than not right now, but you just have more of a voice because you've been able to create what's going to innovate human life. And if you think about this whole planet here and the moon and Mars, if anything were to happen to Earth, where would you go? That's the only question that matters. We currently do not care about the Earth. So we have to start thinking that in case anything happens to this Earth, how could human civilization continue? That's thinking like Elon Musk. He's worried about Earth disappearing because of a catastrophe. Think about it. Think like Elon, share this video, take some notes, and help yourself by coming up with an idea, merging technologies that will help innovate society towards our ideal self, our best potential, whatever it is that you may see it fit. But I'm excited to learn about these ideas. Comment your thoughts below. If you have an idea, send me a message. If you feel comfortable sharing, I'd love to go ahead and encourage you through the entire way of you reaching this goal, because there's nothing better than being able to share your idea with somebody and not having them doubt you, not having them doubt your idea, not having them be pessimistic, but simply give you other perspectives that can help you open your eyes to how can you make that possible. Look guys, the future is bright. Stay positive, wake up and grind, and before you talk, make sure you do your research. Thanks for watching.